Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blanks and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Greetings, good people of the planet Earth and the known universe. You're listening to GSMC's television podcast. It's your Captain Keith. It's always good to be here with all of you great people on this planet Earth and those people out there in the known universe that we have yet to meet. And one day we shall. That'd be really cool. And I'm pretty sure it'll be just like it is in the sci-fi movies and TV shows. Right on. Anyway, so today, for our episode, new TV shows, one off the streaming network, and one off of the SyFY network. Off the streaming network, it's UMC.TV, also known as the Urban Movie Channel. Let's see. They have a new series. I've been telling you guys about it. I've been giving you, little hints. Beyond the Pole. Yeah, man. I'm hooked. I'm going to probably finish it tonight. It's only 5 episodes, but I'm hooked. The cast is amazing, all very strong personalities. This is a great show. It's intriguing too, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's Beyond the Pole off of UMC.TV. That's a great. This is a new streaming network. I've talked about it before. I'm happy. I'm excited to see where it goes. For example, they have a new series I'm looking at right now. It's called True First, and it says African American legends and their untold stories. So it's just great. It's just good to see all the cinema that you don't usually see, and people taking, from a culture taking their vision into their own hands. So I'm excited about that. And then Deadly Class off the SyFY network. We're gonna dig into that. I've watched the first 2 episodes. I've got 2 more to catch up, but we're gonna talk about that today too. I'm excited about that show. It's based off of graphic novels. So I just remembered that as I was looking up my notes for today. I'm gonna have to start reading those. I love when I can watch TV and it inspires me to read from it. I love that. That's when you know it's amazing. I mean, that's one of the ways you know that you're watching some great stuff, when it makes you want to read the stuff that you just watched. Anything that will inspire you to read is usually a great thing. Now, of course, there's going to be some stuff that you can read that could be kind of bad. So I'm saying usually. I'm not going to say always. All right, So yeah, I'm excited about that. I can't wait to dig into that too. So I'm I'll be caught up with that soon too. And don't be surprised if there's a conclusion. There's a follow up to Beyond the Pole and Deadly Class, because I'm really excited about both these shows. And they're 2 different shows. One's about strippers in Atlanta trying to get out of the business. You get to see them in the club, and you get to see them at home with their families, and see them struggling just to try to have a regular life. One of the favorite segments I have, that they have that I like to watch, is that it's called Real Talk, where the girls are like in the dressing room talking about whatever. It's probably usually about sex and men and whatever. They might even get graphic about it, but it lets you know that it's not just men that may have these type of conversations, the so-called male locker room talk. There's apparently female locker room talk too. And it was very riveting. And it was cool to watch, but the whole thing, yeah, I'm excited to talk about both of these shows today. I am. So to give you the synopsis on Beyond the Pole. So Beyond the Pole showcases some of Atlanta's most famous strippers. Although the series is about strippers, the message is more important. What's your life beyond the pole? And what better person than ex-stripper and now self-made millionaire coach Stormy Wellington, a.k.a. Pitbull in the skirt, to guide the girls to financial freedom. So, and the girls are Lily, Ling Ling, Miss Dime, is it Angel Cake, I think her name is, and Labrie. I'm trying to get all their names. Excuse me. Let's see. Yeah, Angel Cake, yeah. Let's see. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, because it's not listing all of their names, and I know them. And there's one more girl, and I don't have her name in front of me. Yeah, Labrie, and there's one more. Well, it'll come to me later, so bear with me. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I'll be speaking some more about this show in the near future. So there's 5 episodes. In the first episode, you get to know who the girls are and a little bit about their backgrounds. Labrie wants to start her own makeup company. And she is going in for some wellness treatment, and she runs into Stormy Wellington. They're both like lying on the tables, getting work done on their bodies, massages, and checking up on tone and the different stuff that women may do that I know nothing about. And Labrie strikes up a conversation with Stormy, and Stormy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing well, and what are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm a stripper," and Stormy lets it be known to Labrie, because Labrie had no idea that Stormy used to strip for 3 years. So, she may be the first former stripper we know of who is a self-made millionaire in businesses that don't necessarily have to do with entertainment. I'm not quite sure. Or just she might just be the first former stripper who's a self-made millionaire. I don't know. But when I watched the show, she has a very strong, commanding presence. And Labrie is very she's very calm, cool, collected, and sure of herself. So, and I thought about it too. I'm like, well, okay, if you're going to a strip club and you're going to see ladies, stripping, you've got to have some confidence in order for you to get up on that stage and do that in front of these strangers that you don't know, these male strangers and sometimes female strangers. So yeah, very confident. One of the opening scenes in the first episode is she's at a club stripping, and Young Jock, the rapper, comes in, who's part of Love and Hip Hop, and it's Young, and it's JOC, and Young Jock, if you've seen him on TV before, he's always pretty laid back. He never really gets too riled up, at least when I've seen him. And he sees Labrie, and there's another stripper on the stage, and Young Jock's looking at Labrie, who's like standing, she's like walking around. And the stripper on stage gets off the stage, and she tries to start beef with Labrie over Young Jock. She tries to throw shade at Labrie, and Labrie is keeping it classy. And the more this other stripper tries to throw shade at Labrie, it just antagonizes and turns off Young Jock. And Young Jock tells the girl, you need to watch your mouth, and you need to just get up out of here. And Labrie kept it cool. And then Labrie's like, I'm not surprised. The girl was hating on me, and I was just doing my thing. I'm not going to get agitated. I'm not going to get upset, And she's like, it's nothing to see strippers fighting. And then they flash to a scene of 2 strippers that we don't know fighting in the back room. So maybe who they were will be revealed to us later on in the show, or it just could have been some random clip they decided to show. I don't know. But I'm like, okay, so yeah, so first thing we saw is that women can be very competitive and aggressive towards each other. Okay. Especially because, they're doing it for, to make a living, to make good money, and one of the first things you find out when you watch this show So, and mind you, this is reality based. So this isn't really, to my knowledge, it's not scripted. These ladies are living this way. They're trying to get out of the game. And what I like about it is that it's just, you never really think, when I was, younger, and I may have, when I've heard of these places, I never thought about the women in those places being moms, because if you're a guy and you walk into a strip club, that's the last thing you're going to be thinking about when you think about the pretty ladies on stage who's about to get naked. You don't think she might be somebody's mom or sister or daughter, and trying to make ends meet, trying to survive, trying to raise her kid. It's like, it's a secret identity. I mean, one of the reasons why we love superheroes and comic books so much is because, human beings often have to have a secret identity. There's the identity you have at work, and there's the identity you have at home. Sometimes it's the same, but most of the time it's not. So I've enjoyed seeing that and realizing, wow, these ladies, they're just trying to live and survive. And they all, for the most part, seem like nice people. But, and once again, it's TV. I don't know, and in a sense, they're all made to look like they're nice. So I'm enjoying what I'm watching, and they're all, yeah. I mean, it's what do I want to say? I'm very fascinated with the chemistry of all the ladies and the interaction they have with each other. And so far, what I've seen, and like in the first episode, there's a sisterhood that you see, at least with all of them. And once again, though, so this is just 2 episodes in, so that they don't seem to really be competing with each other. They talk with each other. They seem to lift each other up, and maybe because they have more things in common than not, like their moms, most of them, and they're they want to make sure they're feeding their kids and feeding themselves. And what I learned in the first episode was that, but we kind of already knew because I saw Players Club. Yeah, I saw it. Great movie. Shout out to Ice Cube. That it's not all as glamorous as they make it seem in the movies. I mean, and that's like stating the obvious now, right? When I say that, what I learned watching this, like the first episode, was that, it's a high stakes game. You can come in there and leave with $600 or $1,000 or $400 or $500, or you can come in there and leave with $100, but you spent over $100 on your attire just to walk into the club and to look good, to get these guys to want, table dances and private rooms or whatever. So it's a gamble. You don't know what's going to happen on any given day. Some days are great and other days are bad. What's that sound like, folks? Just going to your job, right? Some days are great and some days are bad. So I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. That's good to know. So that was really interesting to find out. I like all the characters so far. The Bree was the first one that I saw. By the end of the first episode, Miss Dime comes into play, and Miss Dime is like, well, I got into stripping because my father was like, either I follow his rules in this house or I leave. So I left and went out to the streets and started stripping. I'm like, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, your dad wanted you to stay home and he was going to take care of you, and all he wanted you to do was follow his rules, and you decided to hit the streets and go strip. Something's not right with that picture. But at the same time, Miss Dime, so far, is the only stripper I see. She's got 2 degrees. One's a master's degree, and she works at a hospital. But the people at the hospital may not know that she's a stripper. So it's all intriguing. I'm like, okay, so, you hear I'm working my way to law school. Well, some strippers actually probably kind of do. So it's just really intriguing. I'm like, okay, so you've got a master's degree, but yet you're stripping, and you're working for a hospital. And then you told Stormy Wellington in the second episode that you want to do a nonprofit and you want to work with cancer patients and like, have wigs for them and stuff. So there's got to be a deeper story to all that. It's just really interesting, her character already. And she calls herself Miss Dime because she was always told she was a perfect 10. Love the confidence that women have. And when I look at Angel Cake, she looks like she reminds me of like Aaliyah if she was still here, just taller and just fuller, just more voluptuous. It's really kind of eerie. It's a very striking lady. Yeah, very pretty. She has a son named Jace, and she's a single mom. We'll talk some more about Beyond the Pole after this break.
Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
And once again, you're listening to Golden State Media Concepts Television Podcast. This is your Captain Keith speaking. And we're talking about the new series Beyond the Pole, which is a great new TV series off of the streaming platform network, the UMC.TV, also known as the Urban Movie Channel. So, as I was saying, Angel Cake, yeah, like I said, she reminds me of like a just taller, more voluptuous version of Aaliyah. It's really... yeah, it's kind of scary and compelling all at the same time. She's a very pretty lady. She has a son named Jace, and she's a single mom. And we find this out in the second episode because you find out that she has a niece who she's allowed to come stay with her. And I guess her niece was always fascinated with the dancing life that her aunt does. And her aunt's like, no, I don't want you doing this. But the niece goes off to Chicago, like I guess for like the summer. And decides to go stripping, and she comes back. She's like, "Yeah, it's not for me. It's not that glamorous at all." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm glad. I didn't want you to do it, but I'm glad you know and realize it now. It takes a lot of work, and I don't want you in that life. You know, you should be focusing on school and trying to better yourself." And then Angel Cake tells her that, how about you help me, get my business off the ground. And you see Angel Cake's son. He's a cute kid. You see her bringing him home from school. And she's like, you can go upstairs and, watch TV for a minute, but then you're going to come down. We're going to do your homework. And you see her going over the homework with her son. And she talks about how his father's not really in his life because he's about that street life. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm just thinking to myself, I get that women like bad boys. I get that. Some of us guys, we even like bad girls. But when you decide to have a child with a bad boy, well, how's that going to go? It's going to go one of two ways. He's going to stop living that life and be a devoted father and ideally a husband, or he's going to keep on living that life and not be devoted to anything but to the game that he's, that street game that he's a part of. So, I hate to see stuff like that. So, but it's interesting though. So, Angel Cake definitely wants to, she definitely wants to get a business off the ground, and she wants to leave the business. And she says too earlier, I think in the first episode, she's just like, when we're talking about making money on the nights that you show up, she's like, if I'm not making $600, when I come into work, it's not even worth me being there. It's like insulting to me. So, okay, and I get it. And once again, if you don't think you're a prize when you walk in there, why should anyone else? So I understand. Yeah, I do. So that's what's going on with Angel Cake. And then she's like, so she wants to encourage her niece, work with me on the business. And I'm glad you realize now that stripping is not glamorous and that you're meant to do more and that I'm going to get out of this and I want to do more and I want to have, basically residual income coming in. So, of course. So that was cool. Ling Ling is her name, another stripper, who's also a model. I guess she used to be a bottle service girl too. She looks like she's black and Asian, and a name like Ling Ling, I'm pretty sure she is. Just don't know what particular Asian ethnicity she is. I'm sure we'll find out later. Slender, very pretty, and she's been dealing with issues with her living arrangements, and just trying to. She tells a story about how she was involved with somebody and didn't know this person was, I believe, married, and she found out, by the time she found out, it all blew up in her face. Then they had assets together and they lived somewhere, and then she had to let go of the assets and had to get her own spot, and it's been a hustle for her. But she says she has a son, but we haven't seen her son yet. Right now, she's just, she wants to get out of the strip game. She wants to model full time, but doesn't quite know how to make that full transition. And then there's Lily. She's a mom. I think she has more than one child. I think maybe two. I can't remember. I think it might be a boy and a girl. And you see her at home with her kids, and she has a nice house. And I'm not quite sure what she wants to do, but I do know that she wants to get out of the business too. She's not, and she didn't quite say what she's doing to do that. So what happens? So like I said, the first episode is just you get to know everyone, and there's another stripper. I forget her name, and I don't see it here in the listing. And they didn't list all the names in this one. It's frustrating. Let me see though, because what I can do, because they always show it at the beginning. So let's see if I can get that real quick. Because this other stripper, you find out that she wasn't really raised by her mom, but her mom's in her life now. But they talk on the phone more so than see each other in person, and that kind of affected her life. And she's worried about her mom because I guess her mom struggled with substance abuse, and it's to a point now where she feels more like the parent than the daughter. So that's the dynamic going on with her. So all the ladies want to get out of the business, but don't know quite how to do it. Her name is Lena. Okay, Lena, that's her name. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah, her mom was on drugs, so her mom didn't raise her, but they reconnected. And Lena's father died when she was young, so she never really knew him. So everyone has a story, and it's just really riveting when you see all this. Very riveting. I can definitely say that. So Lena's the other girl, yeah. So that's her situation. So she's a stripper too. And she states that she has to, drink before she goes up on stage so that alter ego can come out. But when she drinks, she becomes a whole different type of person, personality-wise. So we have yet to see that on the show. So episode 2, she wasn't really in it that much. Episode 2 opens up with all the girls deciding to go to a pole dancing class. And here is the interesting thing, and was fascinating. I never felt empathy for women trying to learn pole dance until I watched this episode. The ladies found out that, because all the ladies, they utilize the pole, but then they're not going up and down the pole, doing like gymnastics like live strippers do. And when they found they had to do these exercises or, the training in the classroom with the instructor, they found out it was a lot harder than they thought, a lot harder. And when they were able to get up on the pole and pull themselves up and do gymnastics on it, they all said that their legs were burning and then their arms were sore. Their legs were sore and their arms were sore because they were working all the muscles in their body to do this. And they all walked away saying that they had a lot more respect for the women who were able to get up on the pole and go upside down, hang around, and do all these different types of gymnastic things with their body, because it really is a workout. But, when you're a guy looking at it, you're not seeing it that way. So, but no, so like I said, I'm watching this and I'm just intrigued because it's just interesting to see this. And then the ladies, because of course with this type of show, they always interview the ladies separately in between segments or scenes, and they're all like, well, the instructor, she was like nice and mean all at the same time. Like, that doesn't look good. That's not good. I'm not having it. But if you're an instructor and you're instructing women on how to pole dance, you probably need that combination, so you're taken seriously. It made all the sense in the world to me. And before they did the pole dancing, they also had one of their mutual friends owns a bottle service, and she was teaching a class on that, and Ling Ling met up with this lady to talk about that, and that's when the lady told her, hey, I think you're great, I love your look, I would change your hair back. We went to that party. Did you meet the celebrity who was there? Yeah, but I didn't get a chance to really talk to him about what I'm trying to do. She's like, you got to get in there. You know what to do, but change your hair color back from red to black. It's much more appealing. And she goes, I didn't know you. And then Lily's like, I used to bottle service too. She goes, oh, I didn't know that. And she's like, well, why did you stop? She goes, well, when I came to Atlanta, I didn't know what places to go. I didn't know what places were good for bottle service, so I just went back to stripping. So it was just, the stories that people tell are just interesting. And you find out that Stormy Wellington, the self-made millionaire who's going to be their mentor for the most part, she was a stripper for 3 years, from 14 to 16, something like that. It's crazy. She's very confident. When they call her Pitbull in the skirt, you kind of see that in the second episode because she has a mixer at her home. It's an Airbnb she's renting out. So, and because Labrie's like, all my girlfriends are coming over, and Stormy's like, okay, well, give me a count so I know how much to make. How much to make. Cause I'm gonna have cheese and different cocktails and things for the ladies, and she did. And it started off nice. And Stormy was asking questions. The ladies were all introducing themselves, and Stormy's like, well, I just want to help you. I want to help coach you. To encourage you to have a career beyond stripping so you don't have to strip if you don't want to, because that's the goal, to be self-made, to have your own money, to do what you want, to realize your dreams. So very positive. So Lily comes in late, Lily comes in late, but that was no big deal. So by the time Stormy gets to talk to her and ask her, what's going on with her, and she's like, well, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm trying to figure out, what types of goods and services I want to do. And Stormy's like, well, either you trying to figure, either you know it or you don't. So Stormy gets she kind of cuts her off a little bit, and I didn't get I don't feel like Stormy Wellington was trying to be, she wasn't trying to be abrasive or mean-spirited, but what's interesting is, I guess you can kind of tell when some people are successful versus those who are not. And I don't think that all successful people are like this, but I think there's definitely a number of successful people, or a portion that might they know how valuable their time is, and they don't like wasting it. And I got the feeling from Stormy that she felt like Lily was wasting her time because Lily didn't have a clear vision and goal of what she wanted to do. So that being said, eventually, the other girls see the interaction between Lily and Stormy, and Lily is and she's not trying to antagonize Stormy, but it kind of just gets to that point. And then when Stormy thinks that, they were just messing around, and Lily's like, no, I'm upset. And then Stormy gets upset. And then Ling Ling, starts to, she's siding with Lily because she's like, well, I feel like you're kind of disrespecting her. And then Stormy's like, now you want to talk. And it's just, I could tell that Stormy Wellington is definitely an alpha female. And maybe it's that the ladies have not run into that before. And then, I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, okay, she, pretty black woman with short black hair. And, she has business attire and stuff. And I got the impression that maybe she feels like she has to be even more assertive and more aggressive to be taken seriously because she's a woman, especially doing business. As a guy, I don't really think about those type of things. So, I was thinking about it watching the show. I'm like, okay, well, she's this way because she's in the South and she is asserting herself, and she maybe, she's got her gear on. So she's trying to pull it down, but she's not pulling the protective gear down all the way. So, And just because someone may not have a clear vision of what they want to do, they're having an idea. Sometimes they just might need a nudge or a little conversation from you to get them to where you think they should be. Sometimes it's just about a conversation that people have been waiting their whole life to have with the right person. And I don't think Stormy realized that. So it just, the second episode ended with the ladies basically all, with the exception of LaBrie, because LaBrie looks up to Stormy. The ladies were all just like, we're out of here. You know, this woman is just too much. She's just too aggressive. She's being a bee. But that's the second episode. So, okay, so they had the blowout, and then I think the third episode is a continuation of Stormy getting upset and telling them they have to leave because she's not going to disrespect her in our house, because now she's feeling ganged up on. But she's like, you know, don't make me turn. Don't make me get rough with you. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't want to go into reinforcing these stereotypes. Yeah, don't make me get rough with you. So we'll talk a little bit more about this after this break, and then we get into Daily Class.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And once again, you're listening to GSMC's television podcast. This is Captain Keith. We're wrapping up our segment on Beyond the Pole. So Lily looks, she's like a chocolate complexion, very thick and beautiful natural hair that's huge. It's very long, thick. She might be like around 5'7". Very pretty lady. She looks like she could be like Grace Jones' sister. I mean, just very pretty. All the ladies are very pretty. They're all attractive. You can see how they could be in this business, definitely. You can see them as just regular models as well. Labria kind of looks kind of like she could be, I don't know, like, she kind of looks like she could be Shanice's little sister. But her and Miss Dime kind of look alike. Her, Miss Dime, and Stormy Wellington could be like related to each other because they all have similar features. Miss Dime is nice, kind of a roundish face, long hair. And Lena has a smaller face. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe them, but they're all pretty ladies, and they're all like different hues and complexions. Yeah, but they're an attractive bunch, and I'm definitely invested to see where they go business-wise. So, I mean, it's very intriguing because you never know who you're talking to or who you're sitting next to and who they are when they're not at work. Because often people are so much more than what you think they are. And I get that when I watch the ladies in this show, definitely. It's going to be, especially like with Miss Dime having the whole master's degree and, working in a hospital is just really interesting. So I'm looking forward to learning more about Stormy Wellington and all the things that she's done and how she was able to do it. So I think, I'm excited about that. And to see Labria's cosmetic company take off the ground. So second episode was interesting because, everyone met. Well, Lena wasn't there. Everyone else was there. Everyone met Stormy but Lena. And it started off well, and then got really rocky and bad. LaBrie and Stormy are still cool, and I think the second episode there's going to be more of a little bit of a blow up, and then there's a scene where Stormy's getting interviewed, and she's like, you're not going to disrespect me in my house. I don't want to get rough, and Stormy's asking to speak to like the director, the executive producer. So it's interesting, but like I said, you can definitely tell that she's an alpha female, and then she doesn't take anything. And then, like I said, when you see people like that, you have to ask yourself, okay, so what has she gone through in her life to make her this way? But whatever it was, it made her tough, and it made her also successful. So, but, just remember, you're a different generation from these ladies here, and they may have some similar struggles to you, but 9 times out of 10, they do and they don't. So, and as my mother always says to me, or has said to me, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So, and then, and I get, Leland sticking up for Lily, sitting on the couch and, but you don't want to get into an argument with someone who's invited you over to their place. And then she's like, get out of my home. And it's like, well, it's not your home, it's Airbnb. Whether it's an Airbnb or not, she's paying for it. So right now, she's paying for it to be her home. So, because, so emotions were running high. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, to see if these girls who all seem to be closely knit together as a group trying to make it, do they stay there? Do they stay that way? Do they get competitive with each other? Do they backstab? Will there be infighting? Will they all be successful? Will some people fall off? Also in the second episode, Ling was to a situation where she was on the verge of being homeless, and she had to talk to the executive producer about, she didn't know she was going to be able to stay on the show. And the executive producer's like, well, thank you for letting us know what's going on, and we're rooting for you. We want to see how this plays out, and we're going to film it, but we definitely want you here. And you find out that Ling is close friends with Lyfe Jennings, so you see him come through, and he talks to her, and he gives her really good advice, and he gives her a solution to help her in a situation, a work solution. So he reaches out in an olive branch, and you can see too that he seems to be very, very spiritually based, because he's talking about if you put things out there, you don't have to speak upon it. Once you speak on it, don't obsess over it. You already put that in motion. Now just allow it to come to you, and don't overthink things. And he's talking about God and how God provides a way. So it's really, really interesting, their friendship or their connection, and her confiding and just watching Ling break down to the executive producer about what she's going through in her real life. So, I mean, and that, that's, people, it's just like everybody doesn't want to let when they're going through it, and you're doing it on television, and with the streaming network, this can be seen all over the world, So, but it's all very compelling. So Angel Cake is trying to start her own business and bring her niece in, and and be there for her son. And you see her doing yoga with her son, and she's like, oh, it relaxes him, and I'm glad that we do this together. And she's like, I think more men should do yoga. And that was an interesting thing. I was like, oh, okay. So that was really cool. I've never seen a mom and and young son do yoga together. So that was I wasn't expecting to see that scene. So that was very intriguing. And so I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Lily, what her goal is. But like I said, there's a segment where they talk about real talk, where they talk about, it could be talk about anything, but this time they're talking about sex and things about what men do and what men don't do and what men should do and what these women like. And, it was just, they're talking about orgasming and squirting and all kinds of different things. It was just very fascinating, because I've never seen any women on TV talk about that stuff, like in their dressing room. So it was cool to be a fly on the wall and to see the sincerity and the humor in all of it too. But, and it really was real talk. So I can't wait to see what the next segment is going to be in the next episode. And will Stormy be able to reconnect with these girls that she kind of splintered from? Her connection with LaBrie is still there, definitely. LaBrie looks up to her. And Miss Dime's, double life, will it catch up to her? She's afraid of her father finding out. He doesn't know that she ever stripped, and she doesn't want him to know. She's like, he's not on the internet, so he probably wouldn't know. So all these things, and then will Lena and her, will Lena's mom her relationship with her mom, will that wear on her? Will she be able to maintain that relationship without having it overwhelm her and suffocate her? What's going to happen with that, and what are her goals and dreams, because we don't really know yet. So, but I'm liking this show, and I can't wait to finish it. I will be done with this show by the end of the week, at least this first season. But I'm very intrigued by it. When I first saw it, I'm like, what? Beyond the Pole? This is going to be some garbage. I was so wrong. I love it. Love it. Love it. It was a great concept. I'm mad I didn't think of it myself. So there's not too many reality shows I'm watching, but this is definitely one of them, and it's very intriguing. Yes. Okay, so enough. So Beyond the Pole on the UMC TV, UMC.tv. And by the way, there's other stuff on here too, because, if you don't want to see a show like that, which I think is great, it's a great show. The series, The Rich and Ruthless with Victoria Roll. She writes and directs that show. I already gushed over Monogamy. I can't wait for season 2. Bronx SIU, I like that. I have to finish that season. I don't think I did. There's Marriage Boot Camp, I think, with a lot of rap celebrities, and the whole marriage issue. So I have yet to tackle that, but I'm looking forward to it. What else? Oh, The Red Effect. So yeah, there's all kinds of things here to watch, and there's special made movies. But I'm liking it. We need more diversity with streaming, and having Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and UMC.tv. That's how you do it. That's that way. If you're in a mood for something different, this is what you do. So I think this is really cool. So yeah, Beyond the Pole, check it out. Deadly Class, SyFY Network. Love SyFY Network. I'm a little disappointed because there's a TV show called Superstition with Mario Van Peebles that was awesome, and I don't think it got renewed. I'm kind of bummed about that. So I want to see that show come back. But Deadly Class, where do I start? Okay, let's get it. Okay. So where are we gonna go? What am I gonna do? Let's see. Where's my little IMDb? Where's my show description? Give me 1 second, folks. Oops, making noises, sorry. Got all kinds of wires and cords all around me. Getting everything all tangled up. All right, 1 second. Let's see. Deadly Class, IMDb. Because I always like to have all these things pulled up on my screen so I can just talk about it. Because after I watch it, that's what I usually do. I can just riff on it and just go into detail about what I'm digging and why I'm digging it. Okay, so let's see. Okay. All right, so it's not giving me the synopsis. Oh, here it goes. Okay. So Deadly Class, here's the synopsis that's given. A coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of the late 1980s counterculture, which follows a disillusioned teen recruited into a storied high school for assassins. There you go. So that's a good synopsis. That's a good breakdown. Benedict Wong plays Master Lin. He's the school headmaster. He might even own the school. Basically, he has an underground secret school for assassins. Yeah, I kid you not. Yeah. The question is, would you want your kid to go to the school? Think about that. See, because I can hear you thinking about it. I'm thinking about it too. I know, right? Benjamin Wadsworth plays Marcus Lopez, the main character. Lana Kander plays Saya Kuroki, and Maria Gabriela de Faria plays Maria Salazar, and Luke Tenney plays Willie Lewis. These are basically like the main characters. So basically, Marcus Lopez has been living on the streets. You find out that he used to live in this foster home, and basically, it burned down, and the cops are looking for him because, as far as they're concerned, he burned it down. So the first episode was called Reagan Youth. A disillusioned teen finds purpose and fights for survival at an elite academy for the deadly arts. So when they first approach him, he's just like, "You guys are all kind of creepy. Leave me alone. Get away from me." But then he sees like the students interact with the police and kind of beat some of them up and other people. And he talks with the headmaster, and he's just like, "Nah, I'm not feeling this. You guys ain't right." And then a chain of events happens where the homeless camp that he lives at, there's the homeless guy there who's just a jerk who's like killing people. They're disappearing, and he's stealing their stuff. So, of course, Marcus isn't happy with that, and the guy kicks Marcus out. So Marcus winds up going back to the academy. And because one of the girls, she's like, "Hey, you don't have to be alone," and she winds up giving me a kiss, and because he's at the edge of his rope, and let's just say, she convinced him to go. to go. But then you find out that things aren't always as they seem. We'll talk some more about Deadly Class after this break.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
So once again, you are listening to Golden State Media Concepts television podcast with Captain Keith speaking. And we're talking about Deadly Class, the new TV series on the SyFY network. So the reason why Mark wound up going to a foster care is because his parents got killed. Basically, President Reagan cut all the financial funding the federal funding for all the mental health institutions across the nation that were receiving federal government funding from the federal government. He cut that, so people were forced to close down their hospitals and allow those patients go, and a lot of those patients went on the streets. So as Marcus was walking down the street with his folks, he was behind them. Apparently, a mentally ill patient or homeless patient decided to jump from a window and fell on top of his parents and killed them. So Marcus blames President Reagan for that. So when he's in class and they ask him what his goals are, or it might have been in the lunchroom, he says, "I want to kill President Reagan." That's what he says. He wants to assassinate the president. Now, mind you, he's in a school for assassins, and people are looking at him like he's crazy, like that's never going to happen. So very fascinating. That they're going back to the 80s, and that this first episode was called Reagan Youth. So you see the tie into it. And there was a punk band called with that name too, actually. So that's what's happening. Mr. Lin teaches a class, and you don't want to make him angry in class. He can get kind of ultra violent. It's not true. I mean, think about it. This is School for Assassins. So Mr. Lin teaches a class, and he basically kind of breaks someone's nose because they're passing notes in the class, and keeps on teaching. And then the next class we see Marcus go to is a class. The instructor is schooling them on the arts of poison. And the instructor, the teacher, is the legendary Henry Rollins from Black Flag and the Rollins Band. Love Henry Rollins. It's good to see him acting again. He plays the poison professor, and he's like, okay. And basically, he's like, your first lesson right now, give someone the poison. and dose him. He goes, and see if you can come up with a cure. So they poison one of the students, and eventually they find a cure, and they have to name what the poison was. So that was an exercise. That's the first day of class. I'm like, damn. So this is how it goes, Okay, it's not just enough to instruct me on the poison. So we're dosing people, and then we have to cure them so they don't die. It was crazy. It was a pretty cool episode. I mean, it was a pretty cool scene. But yeah, Marcus is very serious. And he's trying to fit in, and then when he gets there, the first day he's getting picked on. He's the new guy, and he sees all these cliques. He sees there's a white power clan, and then there's the Yakuza or Asian clan. I mean, so he's seeing all the cliques. He thought this was going to be a school for just cool people who are going to happen to learn how to, who will happen to learn how to kill people. He didn't think it was going to get kind of elitist and racist and social class, but that's what school is. When you get to high school and middle school, that's, it gets broken up into class systems or caste systems already, unfortunately. So why would the assassin school be any different? And then he meets this lady, so the one girl who kissed him, he met her first. Let me give you her name. Her name is, on the show it's Saya Kuroki. And then the other girl is her friend Maria Salazar. So Saya is the one who kissed him that convinced him to come to school. So he meets Maria. She kind of flirts with him. And then he sees her boyfriend. And then later on, he sees her again, and she's got this black eye, and she makes it seem like basically her boyfriend hit her. So once Marcus sees that, he just goes at him, and they start fighting. And nobody wants to fight with Chico. That's Maria's boyfriend. She feels trapped in a relationship with him. Basically, she set up Marcus to kill him, and she thought that either he'll kill Chico or Chico will kill him. And then she was shocked to see how quick he was to defend her. And she was like, you were defending my honor, and you just didn't even think twice about it. Whereas Chico he never stops to care to ask me how I'm feeling or what I'm doing. So she winds up liking him, even though she was initially manipulating him, because she's like, wow, this guy doesn't even know me. He was willing to risk his life for me. So that moved her a little bit, because he was down to fight Chico, because you find out that Marcus does not like bullies. And then, Luke Tenney plays Willie Lewis, who's Mr. Tough Guy, the bravado. And he might be the only black kid in the school, or he's the only one that we see or that they're focusing on as a character. And you find out, so by the end of the first episode, Mr. Lin, the headmaster, who might even own the school. I think he owns the school. And he's like, there's only one thing I require. You never tell anyone what the school is. If you do, we'll kill you. Like, okay, bet. So Mr. Lin gives them all an assignment. You must kill someone and hide it and tell me how you did it. That is your assignment. I'm not making this up. That's the assignment he gives the kids. He's like, you got to go kill somebody, but you have to get away with it. And you have to come back and report how you did it. So in the second episode, so what happens, Marcus is walking down the street. Willie picks up Marcus. They get in the car, and Willie basically breaks down. He's just like, hey, man, I'm a pacifist. I have to put a show on. I just have to. And Marcus is like, Marcus doesn't know what it means to be fake, because Marcus's life has been real, too real at times. He's been forced to grow up too quickly because he lost his parents. He lost his foundation. He lost the people he loved the most. And by the way, Marcus is part Hispanic. I forget what he is, because there was ass when he walked into the school. So I think he's Colombian. So, and I mentioned that because, there's this clique, the white power clique, and they're Brandy Lynn and her gang. And And Willie's like, oh yeah, her and I kicked it, but she's a Nazi, but we kick it, but nothing serious. And I don't know if Willie's lying or telling the truth because he's got this false bravado, this protective gear on. And Willie and Marcus both had the same assignment. So Marcus is like, well, I got somebody. Let's go. I'm going to tell you, we go to my homeless encampment. I'm going to kill this guy. So he shows Willie the guy. Willie's got the big old gun. Willie aims the gun to shoot him, and then he chokes. And that's when he tells Marcus, I'm a pacifist. And he's looking at this guy like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. So eventually, Marcus sees, this mean, evil, homeless dude who's been killing people and terrorizing them in the camp, messing with somebody. So Marcus just clocks him and kills him. And then he and Willie put him in a dumpster and burn him. But then in the second episode, Willie takes the credit for it because Marcus doesn't want to talk about it. And Marcus lets him take the credit for it. But then, Marcus winds up befriending this kid who's running for class president who's in the lunchroom, and someone throws a garbage can on him. So Marcus helps him out, and then, Shabam, I think his name is, and then, of course, Shabam thinks that he and Marcus are friends now. And then the ragtag group of punkers and goths that Marcus does hang out with, they're like, we don't mess with that guy. And Shabam comes over and he's like, hey, we're having a party in my place. You should come through. And he's just real nerdy talking about, getting on his Commodore 64. Total throwback from the 80s. I was cracking when I heard him say that. Marcus convinces Shabam to have everybody over for the party. Because, of course, that's going to make him cool. So Shabam thinks. And then so they have a party and it just kind of ruins Shabam's house. Or Shabam, if I'm saying his name right, his house. But the whole party is just very enlightening. And before the party, you see Saya and Maria talking about Marcus and how cute he is. And, Saya's like, oh, yeah, he's my personal assignment. Oh, really? It's like, yeah, I'm responsible for him, according to Mr. Lin. And Mr. Lin might be Saya's dad. I'm not sure. They haven't really said yet. And Maria's like, well, I like him. He's cool, So basically, both girls like him. They just don't want to admit it to each other. So I love how you got these people trained to be assassins or training to be assassins, and they're still going through teen angst like love and romance and, getting giddy over a dude or so it was cute and it was cool because you mix all that into this pot, this interesting pot. So I found out, like I said earlier in the podcast, this is based off of graphic novels. Deadly Class, says, based on the graphic novel of the same name comes an unlikely coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of unsanitized 1980s counterculture. A homeless, disillusioned teen named Marcus is recruited into King's Dominion, a secret academy for the deadly arts, where he struggles to find his place among a community of the deadliest characters in the world. Literally fighting every day for survival, it is in this struggle he tries to find purpose and family in an unlikely group of outcasts, misfits who plan to use their skills to really change the world for the better by breaking every rule there is. Yeah, that's an amazing description of it. And so far, from what I can see, when I go online, there are how many? I had the books. Let me go back. Let's see. Deadly Class. So they're showing, so the first book is called Reagan Youth from 2014. Second book, Deadly Class Volume 4, Die For Me. And then Deadly Class Volume 7, Love Like Blood. So there's a whole bunch in those books. So the volumes are, 1 through 6 in Reagan Youth, 7 to 11 in Kids of the Black Hole, Volume 2, Volume 3, Snake Pit, 12 to 16. So it goes up to 36 to 40. So Volume 8. So there's there's 8 graphic novels of the whole story. So I'm probably gonna wind up buying this. I failed to mention too that. So when Willie bragged about the kill that he didn't do, he just only assisted in getting rid of the body. Mr. Lin was disgusted because none of the class members had killed anybody allegedly but Willie. But Marcus is like kind of falling apart. He's seeing the guy he killed in visions. he's kind of freaking out, but he's internalizing it. But SyFY knows something's wrong. So SyFY tells Mr. Lin, but before we get to that part, what I'm going to tell you is this. So because Mr. Lin's so disgusted that nobody fulfilled their assignment properly, one guy hobbled, a cripple, he sends them out, and he's like, all right, your next challenge is fight to the death. Either you survive or you die. And he poisons them because he gives them a riddle, says, you're all because he kicks them out of class, and they're in the hallway, and it locks these doors down. These walls come down, and they're locked in. Poison gas comes out. They're all poisoned, and they have to get into the other room and find the antidote. Marcus figures out what the antidote is, but passes out before he can reach it. Chico punches him, and Maria, the girl who likes him but doesn't admit it yet, she heard what Marcus said. She gets the antidote and feeds it to everybody to save their lives. So that was cool. And then later on, Mr. Lin, the headmaster, wakes Marcus up. He's got him sleeping in the closet, in the janitor's closet. Takes him to a funeral, and it's the funeral to the guy that he killed. And the guy who he killed, the homeless guy, his daughter's there speaking nice things about him. And there's a picture of him all clean shaven and stuff. And then Lin pushes him over to her, and he starts talking about the guy. And then he just lets it rip. He was a jerk. He killed people. He was an evil person. I don't know how he was when you knew him, but that's not who he was when I knew him. And the world's better off without him. He walks by the daughter, and she spits in his face. And then Lin gives him a new assignment. He gets to better improve sleeping quarters. He gets to bunk with Shabam, the guy who had the party. And Lin talks to SyFY, and she reports the weaknesses of Marcus. And he's like, you're holding back on something. What is it? And she tells him, well, it's about the fire at the foster home. That's all I'm going to tell you. But it's a great show. I'm really digging it. I'm anxious to see where it goes. There was another scene too that was really disturbing that had me laughing, of a guy in the barn and what he was doing wasn't right, and you find out that he's looking for Marcus. That's how the episode 2 ended. That's all I want to say. You have to see it. But I'm going to buy these books because I'm intrigued. I like the story. I do. SyFY Network is pretty cool. Deadly Class. Check it out. If you're looking for something different, check it out. I mean, this is one hell of a school. That's all I got to say. Yeah, they're all about Darwinism there. So, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens more in the poison class too. Very intriguing. Good people of the planet Earth and the known universe, you've been listening to GSMC's television podcast. This is Captain Keith. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in as always. And until next time, so check out Deadly Class on SyFY Network, and check out Beyond the Pole on the on the Urban Movie Channel, UMC.TV. And until next time, see you somewhere out in space.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Television Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.